Hello and thank you for watching. This is STSC back again with LEGO Transformers Soundwave. It's no secret that Soundwave is one of my favorite Transformers. So of course, when I decided to start my own universe of original Transformers designs, he was naturally at the top of my to-do list. I've decided to make Soundwave a DJ station, complete with vinyl records to spin and two massive speaker stacks. I love this alt mode because it somehow feels equally fresh and consistent for Soundwave. These days, waves more or less settled into being various jets and trucks with vague communications or spy theming. So this is a pretty big departure from the modern status quo. However, as I'm sure most of us already know, he started his life as a tape deck. So if you remove the mass shifting from the equation, I think a DJ setup is a pretty natural evolution. The whole spark of inspiration behind this build was this pair of record tiles I found when sorting my collection. I totally forgot I owned these, but rediscovering them, I instantly realized they could be used for a really fun sound wave. The speaker stacks are exaggerated to have a very cartoony feel, and they even bow outwards slightly. It adds some extra presence to what could have otherwise been a pretty boring assembly. The front of the DJ deck is decorated to resemble Soundwave's original G1 tape drawer chest plate. However, it's completely for show here. As one final touch, I've even created a hollow avatar DJ minifig to man the station. That's all there is to say about Soundwave in his alt mode, but of course he wouldn't really be Soundwave without his minions, would he? So let's get into those. I've built 3 minions for Soundwave: Laserbeak, Ravage, and Frenzy. Laserbeak becomes an extra amp, and as a reference to animated, has a Flying V guitar plugged in using a Lego string as the wire. Ravage, meanwhile, has a little camera mounted on top of his amp mode. Admittedly, this is just here because I couldn't figure out how to fit the entire cat mode into the amp, and it's a bit of a strange inclusion, but I like to imagine it's just set up to record the dance floor at whatever rave Soundwave has infiltrated. Lastly, Frenzy is the only one who's not an amp, and instead turns into a drum kit. While I generally like it for the Conceticons to have a uniform alt mode across the members, I felt this alt mode was too good a fit to pass up. I decided to just build Frenzy for a couple of reasons. First, because I wanted there to only be one red one in the group, and secondly, because it meant I didn't have to delay the video until I could source the parts for a second copy. Altogether, Soundwave and his minions have some major stage presence in alt mode. But that's all there is to say for now, so it's time to transform. Here we have Soundwave in robot mode, and I think he looks incredible. The transformation is simple but effective, and the DJ station morphs into a very vibrant and characterful robot. The yellow of his faux tape drawer hides away, and all the blue is concentrated onto his torso. I made the decision to keep his limbs black so the magenta details and blue torso would really draw the focus and pop. Starting from the bottom, Soundwave's legs are super simple. There's so much going on with the rest of the build, by the time I reached the legs, I decided to keep them very basic to avoid the robot mode becoming too busy. The one detail they do get is a nice magenta pinstripe running down the side. His torso is kinda crazy. I knew from the start I wanted to have the records be his chest plate, and when I realized their print could be used to create angry eyebrows, I took the idea and ran with it. He ended up with a very Gurren Lagann-esque chest face, complete with gnarly yellow teeth and a magenta tongue. The arms come from the speakers and are channeling a mixture of animated and prime, with massive speaker shoulder pads and gangly three-fingered hands. The head design takes major inspiration from Starscreamer's character Telluris. I added antenna, bulked out the cheeks, and added a little crest up top. I think it captures the basic Soundwave hallmarks while feeling fresh and unique. Moving on to minions, let's start with Laserbeak. The amp opens up into a decent wingspan, and I like to imagine the speakers acting similar to VTOL fans in this mode. His head is the guitar, which may require some suspension of disbelief, but I find it really fun. Next up, Ravage is a fairly well-shaped cat, especially considering he transforms from a box. His head is formed from the camera, and the amp wire forms his tail. I enjoy that the speaker ends up centered on his cat chest, and can imagine him launching ear-shattering sonic meow attacks from it like a chest cannon. Lastly, Frenzy transforms to have permanent pile driver hands. Unfortunately, they don't quite reach the ground, but they look the part, and at this scale I think that's enough. Another detail I really enjoy is that the cymbals end up folding down to emulate the metallic tape wheel details his G1 design had. Together, Soundwave and his minions make quite the team and look great on display. Soundwave represents exactly what I want to push myself towards with this new series of original redesigns. New, fresh takes on characters that feel equal parts unique and true to the original. I think he looks amazing and has such a strong, characterful vibe that he may have become one of my favorite Transformers I've built. On top of all that, I love what I was able to come up with for his little minions, and they make wonderful companion pieces. This is one of my favorite Transformers reformatted to appeal exactly to my tastes, and I couldn't be happier with the result. But that's all I have for now, so I'll see you next time.